All right, let's get right into this. Again, it's like the angle and all that. So let's get right into this. So, I wanted to talk about something. I think people have noticed some kind of change in me, maybe in my videos and all that stuff, and so I just wanted to talk about that to kind of explain it and put it into words. Something I think people even know, but it just kind of like to represent yourself to say stuff like that. So, first of all, I will tell you, 30 years of not having a presence. What does that mean? That means that no matter where you are, it's almost like you're totally ignored. You can be heard and be ignored, and it's like you don't even exist in that place. Okay, I could be in fifth grade classroom for math, but it's like I'm not even really there because the type of person that I really am is in a totally different place. You see what I'm saying? And so when you don't have a presence and you don't change and grow, you see the same person year after year and you watch everybody change and move on, and you pretty much end up talking to people who move on from you, and you meet new people all the time because they're always moving on from you because you're staying in the same place. Not having a presence, what is it like also? You could be sitting in you could be in a lounge with no music. Okay, you could be in a lounge, you could be hanging out in a pool hall, it doesn't matter. You could just be hanging out with a bunch of people, just somewhere outside in a park or something. And when everyone's conversating, it's as if you don't even exist. You're sitting there and people smile about it, but they're all talking to each other, but they're not talking to you. You're sitting there, it's almost like you're not even there. That was what it was like for me all the time, all my life. Okay, people were having conversations right in front of me, and it was like I wasn't even there. So when I say that I finally gained a presence, it's like I actually gained a presence, and it's very obvious. And I talk to people, I get addressed, they understand it. I've changed. I'm able to change and grow now, and that's part of why you're seeing me in a different light and behaving differently. There are other things that I've talked about dead time. Dead time is like, your life goes into dead time. It's like, maybe I'm not in Rikers Island, but it's like I'm really in Rikers Island, in like the worst part of Rikers Island for quite a while. Okay, let's say 7.5 years. I'm the worst part of Rikers Island, and then I'm out. You know what I mean? Like my life is out of there. And that's when, and I'll explain it. So I did rob a bank, and when I robbed the bank, right after I got arrested, I was taken straight to the police station, spent from the police station, I went to jail, and I was in jail for a little while, and I went back to jail 3 more times in that time period. So what am I trying to say? So I'm trying to say that my life went into dead time right after I robbed that bank. So it was like it doesn't matter where I am or where I'm not or what the case is. That has nothing to do with it. My persona, my ego out there was pretty much in Rikers Island. My life situation was pretty much the same as somebody in the worst part of Rikers Island. And to finally get out, it's like that's when I start changing. And I think that's part of what it is. And this happens to people, sometimes, I say this, a real criminal who wants to be legit is only going to be legit in one way, and that's by going to jail. Okay. When he goes to a facility and he spends some real time in there, that's when he realizes that, how do I really become legit? You know what I mean? Because I don't feel like I ever had an option. I was always like a criminal, and now I want to go legit. And a correctional facility or any facility is supposed to teach you and help you to become better, to become legit. So for me, for having my life pretty much out there now, and 7.5 years is a long time. So to have my life and my persona and my life situation to be out there, it's like, I'm that guy who robbed that bank, but it doesn't mean that I'm trying to go illegal, because I may have gained a hunger for cold hard for cash, to really go to those lengths where I'm making the bank manager put money in my hand and then running out of there, or taking the, sorry, well, I don't want to describe it, but, making the bank manager put money in my hand and leaving, it's a big thing. You know what I mean? And it does create this, almost like a drive. Yeah, I am more driven now. I got this drive, and it's not even, I don't, and the funny thing is I have less of a drive for, like, let's say, for like females and stuff, and there's more of a drive for money. which I think is very good. And by the way, that is typically what happens when you get older. I'm in my 30s now, and typically it is from it's 30s where people start having their midlife crisis. Men have their midlife crisis in their 30s, and well, that's what I know. And when they have their midlife crisis, it's like, well, I don't really care about running around and chasing after girls anymore. I want to take life seriously. I want to get my money right. I want to get my life right. I want to get my business right. You know what I mean? All my business, my social business, my financial business, everything, I want to get it right. Right? So I would say, for me to, there's a lot of factors: gaining a presence, changing and growing, going from an enclave or a cave into actually being in the world, naturally being myself. It's coming my way anyways. But the fact that the last time my life was really, my persona and my life situation was actually out there in society, in the social world, the last time that it was, I had robbed a bank. And believe me, I mean that's a very real life situation. It's very serious, and at the same time, it's a huge drive. I would recommend 99 out of 100 people not doing that. But what out of 100 people who do that will actually find benefit in it? And that's why I'm fortunate, because I found benefit in that, in the way that, in that time, it made me way more driven with money and everything. But at the same time, the time that I did kind of taught me about how to go on and live a legit life. And I don't just mean, oh, I'm going to have a real legit business to earn from. No, I don't just mean that. I mean living a legit life. Like, I'm not going to go to that nightclub and just break a bottle over a guy's head because I feel like breaking a bottle over a guy's head, and then spend the night in jail. You know what I mean? And then deal with charges. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go legit all the way, meaning that my social life is just as legit as my financial life. But yeah, I think people have noticed that in me recently. There's a lot more drive, and it's there, and it's real. I mean, I have a very strong drive. You can only understand it when you rob a bank. I mean, when you do something like that, like, believe me, like that drive for the money is there. All that time I've spent has made me legit. I'm not thinking about fast life, like, oh, I want to meet a girl and spend the night with her the first night I meet her, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm not that that's the type of guy I am, but it's not like, they had a song called, when I was younger, it was called All I Ever Wanted Was a One Night Stand. Da, da, da. I don't even remember what it was called, but I remember that chorus. And I'm not thinking like that because I'm a lot older now, and I've spent a lot of time doing time, and I'm more matured, and I do think about being driven and money, and not thinking about things that oh man, I would just love to go to a party tonight, drink my face off, and have a crazy ass night. You know what I mean? That's not how I'm focused. That's not the way that I discipline myself, and that's not the way that I'm thinking. So how can we wrap this up? So I thought that was important to address that. Yeah, you will notice changes in me, and you will notice that, and it's all real, and that's a good thing that I like about myself, is that I like to be genuine, so that when there's an effect or something noticed, it's very real, and it's cause and effect, and it's real. It's not just a pretend or an act, and it's there. Yeah, but it doesn't exactly mean that I'm gonna be rich overnight and all that stuff. And this is the last thing that I want to say. Me being in the system and somebody saying, for example, oh, he's like me, but he's slowing me down, or he's screwing with me. That's not true. You see, it's not that I have to become something tomorrow. It's not that, oh, when I wake up tomorrow, I have to be a millionaire. I have to be living this kind of life with a Bentley and blah, blah, blah. That's not the way it is. This is how it is. Let me explain to you. Without you, like me being in the system, without me being in this world system, if you're gonna screw with me for no reason, and you're gonna go out of your way, when it's so easy that you can just live your life and have a great life without me, or doing your own thing, and you just want to go out of your way. Let's say there's 100 people want to go out of their way to slow me down, to pull me back, to keep me in the same place. You know what I mean? When they start doing that, that's when the system gets screwed up. And that's when people are like, holy shit, I'm a really successful guy, and I've never experienced this. Why is my life getting so shitty? Why am I dealing with these systemic issues? Why is this happening? And it's like, Yeah, because of this stupid these stupid acts that are going on. If nobody was screwing around and that was not going on, nobody would be affected. It doesn't mean that I would become something the next morning. It just means that, that, and it could happen in a short amount of time, but whatever the time it takes, because it's on a natural course and there's no screwing around and no messing with the system. If none of that is going on, it won't affect anybody in a negative way, and I would just continue and eventually get to a better place. You see what I'm trying to say? Should I metaphorize it for you? If you're driving and let's say you live on the east side of town, you're trying to go to the west side of the town, and there's a bridge, and they don't like people from the east side coming to the west. So what do? They could close the bridge down. Now you got to drive like 7 hours to go around that bridge, which would have taken you 30 minutes. You know what I mean? And that screws up a lot of people, even from the west side, because the west side people can't go to the east side now, even though they don't like going to the east side. Maybe not all of them are affected, but some of them are, and a lot of the east siders are affected. You know what I mean? So you get what I'm saying? So, when there's a lot of stupidity that happens, roadblocks, we call them roadblocks metaphorically and realistically. Roadblocks, they put a million stop signs in, a million lights when they don't need to, and they slow you down unnecessarily. And then it's like a systemic effect that affects a lot of people, and it hurts a lot of people. So anyways, that's as clear as it can be, and that's it for me.